أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ChatGPT and his process macro model 1. In this session we are going to talk about how to use ChatGPT with his process macro in SPSS and understand moderation analysis. And before I go into detail of how to use his process macro with ChatGPT in order to better understand the moderation analysis results, we should first understand what is a moderation analysis. Now, the model that we are going to use is a model 1 of his process macro. Now here are the models from his process macro, model 1, and then you've got another model with categories, and then you've got another model multi-categorical X. So your X is multi-categorical, and then you've got moderation with a multi-categorical X variable. Then you've got model 1 with categorical M, and then you've got a simple moderation analysis. So model 1A, that is the first moderation model with continuous moderator. Now in this example I've got one predictor, one DV and one moderator, and model 1 in this case assumes that the IV is continuous, and in this case I'm taking a continuous variable whereby it can be dichotomous as well. Now any moderators are continuous, though dichotomous moderators can be handled as well. Now in this case I'm taking all my variables in the model as continuous. Now later we can do another session on dichotomous variables using ChatGPT. Now there are videos on the channel that have taken categorical predictor and categorical moderator as well. The link will be shared in the description. Now what is a moderator and moderation? So let's first ask ChatGPT, what is a moderating variable? A moderating variable in the context of research and statistics refers to the factor that influences or affects the relationship between two other variables. Now if you come back here, I've got a variable X and then I've got a variable Y, and W is my moderator because it's affecting the relationship between X and Y. It's not affecting X, it's not affecting Y, it's affecting the relationship between X and Y. Now it can either strengthen this relationship, it can weaken the relationship, or it can altogether change the relationship. Now let's go back. To understand the concept of a moderating variable, let's consider an example. Suppose you are conducting a study to examine the relationship between exercise and stress. In this scenario, the independent variable is exercise, the amount of time spent exercising, and the dependent variable is stress. However, you suspect that the relationship between exercise and stress, that is your IV, and your DV, may be influenced by another factor such as age. Now, how does age moderate the relationship? How does age maybe either strengthen, weaken, or change the relationship? And this is true for any variable. In this case, because we've got age, X as a moderating variable, it affects the relationship between exercise and stress levels. For instance, among younger individuals, there may be a stronger negative relationship between exercise and stress levels. So if you are young, the relationship between exercise and stress level will be negative. So as your age increases, the relationship may be changed. However, among older individuals, the relationship may be weaker or even not existent, suggesting that exercise has less impact on stress level. So when you are young, there is a negative impact of exercise on stress. So if you are young, the more you exercise, the lesser are your stress levels. But as you grow old, even if you are exercising or not exercising, it does not affect your stress level. Now, the role of moderating variable is to provide additional insights into the relationship between. Now, you use moderating variables in the study to get additional insights as to what could change the relationship. what other factors can impact a relationship between variables. Now, I'm not going to go any further for now. What we are going to do is, let's come back here and let's see what our example is and how to run moderation analysis. So go to Analyze, Regression, and we are going to use Hayes process macro. And what is my X variable? My X variable is culture. My DV is organizational performance, and my moderator is role ambiguity, and I'm choosing model 1. Now go to options, and we need generate code for visualizing interactions. Now this is to visualize the interaction, that is slope analysis. You can have all variables that define products. Let's see, we do need mean centering. Now in this case, since all are continuous, so it's better to mean center. Now let's have the conditional values, minus, mean, and plus. That is lower level of moderator, average level of moderator, and higher level of moderator. So how does the relationship change at each level of the moderator? And Johnson-Neiman output as well. Now let's press continue and let's press OK to get our results. Now here are our results, and first obviously we will check whether we ran the right model. Yes, Y was OP, X was culture, RA was my moderator. That is fine. The sample size is fine. The outcome variable, now in this case the output or the outcome variable is OP. Have a look here. So let's say this is Y, this is my OP. This is X, this is my independent variable culture, and this is W, which is my moderator RA. Now the statistical diagram is, you've got X here, you've got W here, and then you've got one more additional variable in this case, let's say, and that is the product of X and W. Now if this product is significant, this will tell us yes, there is moderation. So the moderator is moderating the relationship if the interaction effect is significant. So you will see interaction effects whenever you are doing moderation analysis. Now if you come back here and we will see this model here, let's have a look. Here it is. So your outcome variable is OP. This is the model summary. We are going to look into this, the model, and this is your interaction of the IV and the moderator and its impact on outcome variable. Here is product terms key. So interaction 1 is the interaction of culture into RA. And we are going to look into all these results, but stepwise. Let's copy this into Word so that we can easily understand it. Now here are the results. So we have already ran our analysis and this is the output. So description of the model, we have already discussed this. Model summary. Now the first thing is you get your model summary, whereas you've got an R value, R square, MSE, F, DF, and all other statistics. I'm not interested in all these statistics. What I'm interested in this case is R, that is the overall correlation. Now this is R square, this is what I'm interested in. If you multiply this with 100, you will get 36.4%. And this would mean that 36.4% change in OP is being accounted by these three here. These three predictors, culture, RA, and the interaction of culture and RA. Now overall, is this significant? Yes, overall your model is significant. So these variables here, predictors, are predicting the outcome variable. Now moving on, the model itself, culture as a predictor, the coefficient is positive. This shows that there is a positive relationship between culture and OP. Is it significant? Yes, it is significant. The p-value is less than 0.05. The lower level and upper level confidence interval does not have a 0 in between. What is this? Negative sign. And this is your moderator. So the moderator itself has a negative impact on organizational performance. That is, when you increase role ambiguity, it decreases the organizational performance. Is it significant? Yes, it is significant. What about the interaction effect? The moderation analysis. The role of moderator, is it significant in the relationship between culture and OP? Yes, it is significant. Look at this, less than 0.05. There is no zero in between here. The t statistics is greater than 1.96 and the coefficient is approaching 0.10 with a negative relationship. Now, what does this negative relationship mean? This negative relationship means that RA weakens the relationship between culture and OP. Now, when I say RA weakens the relationship between culture and OP, I should understand that the relationship between culture and OP is positive. So RA, which is my moderator, and in this case it's negative, the interaction effect is negative. So RA weakens the positive relationship between culture and OP. Culture into RA is my interaction effect. And is this weakening effect significant? Yes, it is significant. So the R square change, so how much is the change in R square because of the interaction effect? It's 0.0143. So 1.4% change can be accounted to your interaction. Now, is it significant? Yes, it is significant. Now, moving on, the next thing is you've got Johnson-Neiman output. Now, let's have an understanding of the output as well. Just hold on. Now, here it is. Now, here is one more thing. Let's move this to a new page. So your predictor variable is culture, your moderating variable is RA. What is this conditional effects of focal predictor, that is culture, on the outcome at the different values of the moderator? So what if your role ambiguity is low? If your role ambiguity is low, the effect of culture on performance is this. And is it significant? Yes, it is significant. At mean level of role ambiguity, the effect size is this. Now, at higher level of role ambiguity, the effect size is this. Now, look at the effect sizes. These are the effect sizes, the path coefficient from culture to OP at different levels of moderator. And if we see here, as you increase the role ambiguity from low to mean to high, your effect size decreases. So, role ambiguity negatively affects the relationship. And at all three levels, it is significant because the p-value is less than 0.05. Now, here is Johnson-Neiman output. Now, here, look at this, our role ambiguity and the effect size. Role ambiguity, effect size. So, I keep on, this is, let's say, weak role ambiguity. Now, I keep on increasing role ambiguity, keep on increasing it, increasing. Now, look at the p-values here. As I increase the role ambiguity, you should look at the p-values here in this column here. Now look at this here. So there comes a point when if you further increase role ambiguity, it's not going to weaken the relationship between culture and OP. So it becomes insignificant here. So this is the point whereby if you further increase role ambiguity, then the impact of culture on performance is not moderated by role ambiguity. That is not significantly moderated. This is what Johnson-Neiman output will tell you. Moving on, this is how you can draw your graph, and we are going to talk about it as well. Now here is the output, but before we do and go for the output and understand these results, let's use ChatGPT. Now that we understand the whole concept of it, let's use ChatGPT for it. The way I prefer is that you understand these results and then ask ChatGPT by providing it a summary. I ran model 1 from his process macro to assess the moderating role of role ambiguity on the relationship between culture and performance. Following are the results. So you give the results to ChatGPT. Let's see how we can give the results. Now culture had a significant impact on OP. The beta is equal to, what was the beta value? So let me write them here, it's much easier. So beta value was 0.5022, comma p is equal to 0.000. Role ambiguity had a significant impact on OP, and the beta value was minus, and the p-value was less than 0.001 or 0.000. Interaction effect, culture into role ambiguity was significant. So what was the beta and the R square was 0.3641. Now let's keep following are the results. Now what are the results I want to show here? Just look at this. Conditional effects. So let's copy this. Copy. For now, I guess this is more than enough, and now we can ask ChatGPT to give us the interpretation. So instead of just copying and pasting all this, because it will work, ChatGPT will give you the results, but then you do not understand anything. And as in all my ChatGPT or AI tools videos, I keep emphasizing, please read, understand the results, because it's you who is doing the research. You are going to write about the discussion and all. So if you do not understand the results, then there's no point doing the research. You won't, or it won't help you. And it's just a short-term solution. So let's see. Paste it and let's run it. Here are the results. Let's see what we get. So here is the detailed interpretation of the analysis. Now again, it's very detailed. Let me ask ChatGPT. Okay, stop generating. Can you present the results in the form of APA style to be written in the results section? Let's see what we get. Here it is. So let's see. Once it completes, I'm going to read it and see whether it makes sense or not. Yes, it makes sense actually. So multiple regression analysis, obviously, so 36.4% change is being explained by the three predictors. The culture was found to have a significant impact on OP, and then role ambiguity was also significant. And furthermore, the interaction was significant. And this suggests that the relationship between culture and OP varied depending on the level of role ambiguity. Yes, there is moderation. To examine the conditional effects of the focal predictor, now at different level of the moderators, here are the results. And this or the findings support the hypothesized moderating role of role ambiguity on the relationship between culture and performance. Now how do we get the graph, the slope? So to do so, what we are going to do is we are going to copy this text here. Where is it? Go down. Here it is. Let's copy this. And what we are going to do is we are going to go to File, New and Syntax. File, New, Syntax. You can paste it here, select it and run it. And it's running the graph. Have a look here. Now here is the graph done as well. Now I'm just going to discuss this. Let me copy this into the Word document at the end here. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the lines. So for that, much easier, let's go to shapes and let's draw the lines here. Here it is. Now let's do the other line. Here it is. Now let's do the other line. Here it is. So this is minus 1.37 level and plus 1.37. Now if you look here, this line here is higher level of role ambiguity, the average level of role ambiguity, low level of role ambiguity. Now which one is much steeper? Now if you look here, you'll see that this here, the first line, which is low level of role ambiguity, is much steeper in comparison to the other lines. Now when you've got low role ambiguity, if you increase or improve the culture, it leads to a better change in organizational performance. However, at higher level of role ambiguity, even though you are increasing your culture, it's not leading to a steeper or higher or better increase in the organizational performance. So in order to interpret the slope, you need to see the steepness of gradient. Which one is steeper in comparison to the other? Now here the low and high are more or less the same. So it can help you interpret that although you are increasing culture, at higher level of the moderating effect, this one, the last line, at higher level of the moderator, although you are increasing culture, it is not leading to a similar change in OP as is when you have a lower level of role ambiguity. So how do you put it in writing? Here it is. Let's have a look. Now I've done this another graph. This is from another Excel sheet. So here you can look here and see this here. The low role ambiguity, this is much steeper in comparison to high role ambiguity. Now the study assessed the moderating role, which we have already understood. Now this is what I'm interested in, based on the simple slope analysis conducted to better understand the nature of moderating effects. So if your moderation is significant, please do report slopes. And this is shown in figures here. Now as can be seen in figure 1, the line is much steeper for low role ambiguity. So when you have got low role ambiguity, the first line here, it's much steeper. This shows that at low level of role ambiguity, if you increase the culture, this leads to a sharper increase or a stronger increase in the organizational performance in comparison to high RA, which is the line here. So at high RA, if you are increasing the culture, it's not leading to a similar increase in performance. So this means that role ambiguity moderates the relationship between CC and OP, and the interaction was significant as well. Now moving on, and let's do one last thing here. Johnson-Neiman output. Copy it. Now let's ask ChatGPT following are the results from Johnson-Neiman output from his process macro model 1. Can you interpret the results? Let's see what we get. Or you can be more specific and tell ChatGPT, so moderation was run and this was your independent, dependent, this was your moderator, and it can be more detailed. So the moderator 2.9281 is the threshold that divides the moderator variable into the regions of statistical significance. Here it is. Look at this. As I mentioned earlier. So if you increase role ambiguity, this is the level. When you keep on increasing it, this is the level that after this, even if you increase it, it does not moderate the relationship. And this is what Johnson-Neiman output is telling me. So this is how you can use ChatGPT with his process macro to understand moderation results. Thank you very much.